Have you ever felt that this year has been one of trials, of waiting, of wondering when your moment will come? Have you noticed that November was difficult, that something was preparing, that December would bring changes? Do you feel in your soul that the first days of December will be different, that something important is about to manifest, but you don't know exactly what it is? Today you're going to discover something that will completely change what's coming for you. Because God has not forgotten you, Pisces. Quite the opposite. He has been preparing something special for you in silence. And in the first days of December, specifically for those born under the sign of Pisces, 10 divine things are going to happen, 10 sacred events, 10 manifestations that will completely change the course of your life before this year ends. These are not ordinary things or coincidences of fate. They are direct answers from God to the prayers you made with tears in your eyes throughout this year. They are divine rewards for your patience when you felt you couldn't go on anymore, for your unwavering faith when everything seemed lost, for every time you chose to trust God even though you couldn't see the way. God saw you, every moment of your suffering, every sacrifice you made for others, every night you cried in silence thinking no one was listening. Everything was recorded in heaven. And now, in these first days of December, just before the year ends, it's your time to receive, your time to harvest, your time to see manifest everything you sowed with your tears and your faith. In this video, I'm going to reveal to you the exact 10 things that will happen to Pisces in the first days of December. And I'll tell you something in advance that will make you cry with emotion. Thing number 7 is so powerful, so miraculous, so transformative that when you hear it, you're going to fall to your knees thanking God. Because you'll finally understand why you had to wait so long, why you went through everything you went through this year, why God chose these first days of December as the perfect moment to bless you. It wasn't punishment, it was preparation. It wasn't abandonment, it was protection. It wasn't forgetfulness, it was God's perfect timing manifesting in your life. So stay until the end, because each thing I'm going to reveal will not only prepare you to receive it, but will give you the confirmation your heart has been seeking all year. The confirmation that your days of drought are over, that your time of harvest has arrived, that December will be the month where everything changes for you. And if you know another Pisces who has been going through difficult times, who has cried this year, wondering when it will be their turn, share this video because they probably need to hear today more than ever that God has not abandoned them, that their blessings are on the way, that everything is about to change for the better. Before we begin, I need you to do something important that will activate these blessings in your life. Leave in the comments your complete birth date and from what city you're watching us. This is not simple curiosity. It's a way of declaring to the universe and to God that you're present, that you're ready, that your heart is open to receive. And if you're already feeling in your spirit that these 10 things are coming toward you, if you're already perceiving that December will be different, write in capital letters, "I'm ready for my miraculous December," so the universe and God know your faith is active and your heart prepared. And if this video reached you just when you needed it most, just when you were losing hope, just when you were wondering if God really hears you, leave a heart, because that's the clear sign that you didn't arrive here by chance, but by divine design. God Himself brought you to this message today. Now yes, let's begin. Thing number 1, a healing reunion that will close a painful cycle from your past and allow you to begin December in peace. In the first days of December, Pisces, God is going to orchestrate something you've been needing for a long time. He's going to create the perfect circumstances for you to meet with someone from your past. It's no coincidence this happens right at the beginning of December, the month of family reunions, the month of reconnections, the month when hearts soften. It could be a family member with whom there was a distancing that has hurt you in silence all year. It could be a friend you lost due to misunderstandings and whose absence you felt every day. Or it could even be someone who hurt you deeply and you never had the opportunity to find peace with that situation. This reunion won't happen because you seek it out. It will happen because God will orchestrate it. You're going to be in the right place at the right time, and that person will appear when you least expect it. It could be at a supermarket, at a pre-Christmas celebration, on the street, or even through a phone call or message you didn't expect to receive. What's important is that when it happens, you're going to feel immediately that it's divine intervention, that God is opening a door of healing you've been needing. This encounter will bring deep healing to your heart. Perhaps that person will finally ask for your forgiveness for the harm they caused, with tears in their eyes, acknowledging how much they hurt you. Perhaps you'll have the opportunity to express what you could never say, to release those words that have been stuck in your throat for months or years. Or maybe you'll simply see each other, hug, and without need for many words, both will feel that painful chapter can finally close with love and not with resentment. God is using this reunion to take a weight off your soul that you didn't even know how much it was affecting you. You've been carrying that wound, that resentment, that sadness about what happened with that person, and that has been blocking your blessings. Not because God is punishing you, but because your heart was so full of pain from the past that there was no space to receive the new things He wants to give you. When this encounter happens, and that wound finally heals, you're going to feel as if invisible chains you've been dragging were removed. You'll be able to breathe deeper. You'll feel your body lighter. You'll notice you smile more easily. Don't be afraid when this moment arrives. I know it can be scary to face someone who hurt you or with whom there was conflict, but remember that you're no longer the same vulnerable person from a year ago, from 5 years ago, from when that wound occurred. You've grown, you've matured spiritually, you've learned to protect yourself, you've developed stronger boundaries. This reunion doesn't come to hurt you again, but to completely free you. God doesn't allow His children to suffer twice for the same wound. If He's bringing this person back into your life, even for a moment, it's because there's a hidden blessing in that encounter, a final lesson to learn, a closure you need to be able to move forward completely free toward your future. It could be the forgiveness you need to give or receive. It could be the understanding you were lacking about why things happened as they happened. Or it could simply be the visual confirmation that you no longer need anything from that person, that they no longer affect you, that God has already completely healed that wound in your heart. Whatever the purpose, trust that God knows what He's doing. December begins with closure, with healing, with liberation. And that's exactly what you need to be able to receive all the blessings that come after. Thing number 2, a financial solution will arrive from where you least expect it, just when you need it most. Pisces, God knows exactly what your economic situation is at this moment. He knows you've been worried about money. He knows that when you think about December, besides the joy of the holidays, you also feel pressure about expenses. The gifts you have to buy, the dinners you have to organize or contribute to, the debts that accumulated during the year that you hoped to pay before it ended, the financial commitments you have. He knows you've been doing calculations, figuring out, stretching every penny, every dollar, every coin as far as you can. He knows you've been praying in silence, perhaps even with shame about asking God for money when you feel there are more important problems in the world. But God doesn't see your needs as insignificant. He knows you need to eat, that you need to pay your bills, that you need to be able to participate in celebrations without the anguish of money stealing your joy. And in the first days of December, before the holidays reach their peak, God is going to answer those prayers in a way you didn't expect, from a place you weren't looking. This financial solution can manifest in many ways because God is creative in how He blesses His children. It could be a year-end bonus that arrives earlier than expected or in a larger amount than you calculated. It could be money someone owed you and you had completely lost hope of recovering, and suddenly that person appears with full payment. It could be an offer for extra work that appears just when you need it most, a freelance project, an opportunity to earn additional income that emerges from nowhere. It could be a business someone is going to propose to you, an idea someone will share with you that can generate income. It could even be an unexpected gift of money from someone God put in your path specifically to bless you. Someone who will feel in their heart the impulse to help you without you asking. What's important is not exactly where it will come from or how it will arrive. What's important is that God is telling you at this moment, through this message, that the solution is on the way, that He's not going to leave you in need in December, that you won't have to spend the holidays with that financial anguish you felt in previous Decembers, that He always provides for His faithful children, and you've been faithful even when you didn't see results. When this financial blessing arrives, and it will arrive in the first days of December, some Pisces are going to fall into the trap of doubt. They're going to think, this is too good to be true. Surely there's some hidden catch. Better not trust. What if it's a mistake and they take it away later? But God is telling you through this message, trust, receive, accept without guilt and without fear. You've earned this blessing, not with perfection because no one is perfect, but with your honest work, with your unwavering faith when others gave up, with your perseverance in the middle of the storm, with your generosity toward others even when you yourself didn't have much. God saw all those times you shared the little you had. He saw when you gave money to someone who needed it more than you, even though you were also going through need. He saw when you bought food for a stranger. He saw when you helped a family member even though it meant sacrificing something you wanted. He saw your generous heart even in the middle of your own scarcity. And now it's His turn to be generous with you. What you sowed with generosity, you're now going to harvest with abundance. This financial solution that will arrive in the first days of December will not only allow you to spend the month with more tranquility, to buy gifts without anguish, to participate in celebrations without counting every coin. It's going to be much more than that. It's going to be the seed God plants in your life so that the year 2025 begins with an economic abundance you haven't known in a long time. Use it wisely. Don't waste it on unnecessary things just because you finally have money. Thank God for it. Recognize that it comes from Him. And remember to share when you have again, because the blessing that's shared multiplies, because what you give with joy returns to you multiplied. December will be different economically. God is already moving that blessing toward you at this moment. Thing number 3, your intuition will amplify, allowing you to make the right decisions for the new year ahead. In the first days of December, Pisces, you're going to experience something extraordinary that perhaps you've never felt with such intensity. Your sixth sense, that inner voice that has always guided you but that sometimes you ignored or doubted, is going to become stronger, clearer, more precise, more impossible to ignore than ever before in your life. You're going to know things without anyone telling you. You're going to perceive hidden truths without physical evidence. You're going to feel when something isn't right, even though everything seems perfect on the surface. You're going to have hunches so strong, so specific, so detailed about situations and people, that when you act according to them, you're going to be surprised at how incredibly right you were. You're going to think of someone, and that person is going to call or write you seconds later. You're going to feel you shouldn't go to a certain place, and then you'll find out something bad happened there. You're going to have the sensation you should call someone, and when you do, you'll discover that person urgently needed to talk to you. Your intuition is going to be operating at a level that other signs never experience. God is amplifying your intuition, your perceptive capacity, your natural psychic gifts at this specific moment in your life for a very important reason. December isn't just the last month of the year, it's a month of crucial decisions. Decisions about what to do in the new year ahead, about relationships you should keep or let go before 2025 begins, about projects you should start or abandon, about your professional future, about your personal life, about your spiritual path. And God wants to make sure you have the necessary internal guidance, the spiritual compass perfectly calibrated to choose correctly. You won't be able to depend only on logic for these decisions that are coming. Your rational mind is going to tell you one thing, but your intuition is going to tell you something completely different. There will be things the mind can't resolve, situations where the pros and cons are balanced, moments where the logical decision isn't the right one. But your soul already knows the answers. Your intuition already sees what your mind can't calculate. And in these first days of December, that connection with your inner wisdom is going to be stronger than ever. This amplification of your intuition is also going to help you identify who is genuine and who isn't in your life. December is a curious month because many people who ignored you all year suddenly remember you. They call you, write you, want to see you, invite you to things. Some do it with genuine heart because the holidays really reminded them how much they appreciate you. But others do it out of interest, out of convenience, because they need something from you, because they want to appear in your celebration photos, because they want to be invited to your dinner, because they know you're generous and hope to receive something. Your amplified intuition is going to allow you to distinguish perfectly between one and the other. You're going to be able to see through the masks some people wear. You're going to be able to feel the real energy behind nice words. You're going to know instinctively who truly wishes you well and who is only close to you for what they can get. You're going to know to whom to open your heart and your home and from whom to protect yourself politely. This gift is a blessing of divine protection. God is giving you sharper spiritual eyes, more refined perception, increased sensitivity, because He loves you deeply and wants to protect you from people and situations that aren't good for you. When you feel that internal voice telling you something in the first days of December, when you have that strong hunch about a decision, when you feel unexplainable rejection towards something that logically seems good, or unexplainable attraction towards something that logically seems risky, don't ignore it. Don't question it with your logical mind. Don't allow others to convince you to ignore what you feel. Simply trust and act according to what your intuition tells you. Your intuition in these days will literally be God speaking to you directly, without intermediaries, without filters, without distortions. And when you listen to it, when you trust it above everything else, you're going to see how the right doors open for the new year and the wrong ones close. Everything perfectly orchestrated for your greater good, for your protection, for your prosperity. December will give you mental and spiritual clarity like you've never experienced before. Thing number 4, you will receive a clear and undeniable sign that your prayers were heard and are being answered. Pisces, be honest with yourself for a moment. There's something specific, something very important that you've been asking God for a long time. It's not something superficial or trivial. It's something you need deeply in your soul, something you've prayed for with tears in your eyes, with your heart tight, with that silent desperation that only those who have asked for something with their whole being know. It could be about your health or that of someone you love, about a complicated family situation, about your economic situation, about finding love, about healing a relationship, about finding your purpose. And perhaps, after so long praying without seeing visible results, you've started to doubt. You've started to wonder if God really hears you, if your prayers reach heaven or get stuck on the ceiling, if He really cares about you, or if you're alone in this. If it's worth continuing to pray or better to resign yourself. Those doubts are normal, they're human, and God doesn't get angry with you for having them. He understands that waiting is difficult, that maintaining faith when you don't see evidence is exhausting. But in the first days of December, all that is going to change. God is going to send you a sign so clear, so specific, so impossible to be coincidence, so perfectly synchronized, that all doubt will disappear instantly from your heart. You're going to know without any doubt that God heard you, that your prayer reached Him, that He's working on your request. This sign can come in many forms because God speaks in the language each soul needs to hear. It could be a specific number you start seeing everywhere, the same number over and over in places impossible to plan. On the clock when you turn to look, on a license plate that passes in front of you, on a receipt, on a book page you open at random, on television. And that number will have a special meaning for you, perhaps related to your prayer, to an important date, to something only you and God understand. It could be a song you hear just when you need it most, a Christmas song or any song, but with lyrics that speak exactly about your situation, that contain the words you needed to hear, as if God had written it specifically for you at that moment. And you're going to hear it at the perfect moment, when you're thinking about your problem, when you're doubting, when you're about to give up. It could be an unknown person who approaches you and tells you exactly what you needed to hear, using words you had used in your prayers, talking to you about your specific situation without you having told them anything, as if God was speaking through their mouth. You're going to freeze when this happens because you'll know it's not coincidence. That person was sent by God as a messenger. It could be a dream so vivid, so real, so full of divine message and profound symbolism that when you wake up, you'll know without doubt that it wasn't an ordinary dream, but a divine visitation, direct communication from God to you. And that dream is going to give you information, peace, hope, direction about the situation you've been praying for. It could be a coincidence so impossible, so perfectly synchronized, so specifically related to your prayer that there will be no way to explain it logically. You're going to be in the right place at the exact moment. You're going to hear the precise conversation you needed to hear. You're going to find exactly what you needed to find. What's important about this sign you'll receive in the first days of December is not just to confirm that God hears you. It's much deeper than that. It's also to give you concrete hope that the complete answer to your prayer is in process, is on the way, is being prepared in heaven. Divine signs aren't games or illusions. They're serious messages that say, I already saw it, I already heard it, it's already in process, I'm already working on it, trust a little more, don't give up now that you're so close. God doesn't send signs to mock you, to give you false hope without reason, to play with your hopes. He sends them to strengthen your faith just when you need it most, to give you strength to keep believing when everything seems lost, so you enter the new year with renewed hope instead of resignation. When this sign arrives in the first days of December, and I promise you it will arrive, recognize it immediately. Don't let it pass as simple coincidence because your rational mind wants to explain everything logically. Don't minimize it. Don't doubt it. Accept it with deep gratitude. Thank God for taking the time to send you that confirmation in the middle of all the prayers He receives from millions of people. And use that sign, engrave it in your memory, write it in your journal, to renew your faith, to continue praying with more confidence, to continue trusting with more certainty. Because if God took the time to send you such a specific sign in the middle of all the agitation of December, it's because the complete answer is very close to manifesting in your physical life. Maybe it won't arrive in December. Maybe it will arrive in January, in February, in March, but it will arrive at the perfect moment. And this sign you'll receive in the first days of December is the advance proof, is the preview, is the confirmation that God is actively working on your request. December will give you divine confirmation that will completely renew your faith. Thing number 5, a family reconciliation you've been waiting for years will finally happen. In the first days of December, God is going to touch the heart of someone in your family with whom there has been emotional distance, coldness in treatment, or open conflict. Someone important to you, someone whose absence or whose broken relationship has hurt you more than you admit out loud. It could be one of your adult children who emotionally distance themselves from you, who no longer seeks you out, who no longer tells you about their life, who responds with monosyllables when you try to converse. It could be a brother or sister with whom there was a terrible fight, hurtful words that can't be erased, a rupture that seemed definitive. It could be a father or mother with whom the relationship has always been complicated. It could be a family member who blamed you unjustly for something, who took sides against you in a family conflict, who has since treated you with contempt or indifference. You've cried over this broken relationship. You've prayed asking for it to heal. You've dreamed of the day when things go back to how they were before, or at least that there's peace. But at the same time, you've lost hope that it will really happen because too much time has passed, because both of your pride gets in the way, because the wounds seem too deep. But God, in His infinite mercy and His perfect timing, has decided that December is the moment to heal that relationship. And He's going to do it in a beautiful way. He's going to soften that person's heart. He's going to work in their interior in ways you can't see. He's going to put in their mind memories of the good times you shared, the Christmases when you were happy, when the family was united, when love flowed freely. He's going to make them feel nostalgia for what was lost. He's going to make them feel sadness for the time lost in distance. He's going to make them feel guilt or remorse for their part in the conflict. He's going to soften their pride that until now hasn't allowed them to take the first step. And finally, in the first days of December, that person is going to feel the irresistible impulse to seek you out. It could be a phone call you didn't expect. It could be a simple but meaningful text message. It could be an unexpected visit. It could be through another family member who will serve as a bridge. And when that happens, when you see their name on your phone, when you hear their voice, when you read their words, your heart is going to leap with joy mixed with nerves. Because it's something you've been waiting for so long that you had almost lost hope it would really happen. This reconciliation won't be superficial. It won't be a simple forced, "Hello, how are you?" It won't be pretending nothing happened. It will be genuine, deep, real. There will be honest conversations where finally the things that needed to be said will be said. There will be acknowledgement of errors from both sides. There will be explanations that will help understand. There will be tears, many tears, but healing tears, tears of liberation. There will be long hugs, those hugs where neither wants to let go first. There will be mutual forgiveness expressed in words or simply felt in the heart. And when that encounter or that conversation ends, both are going to feel that an enormous weight, a giant stone they've been carrying in their soul, was finally removed. You're going to be able to breathe deeper. You're going to feel your body lighter. You're going to notice you smile more easily, because broken relationships, especially family ones, weigh on the heart much more than we realize while we're carrying them. Only when they heal do we understand how much weight we were dragging. And when they heal, it's as if we could finally breathe completely, as if the world became lighter and brighter. God is bringing this reconciliation not only for you, although He loves you and wants to see you happy. He's bringing it for your whole family. Because when there are family divisions, everyone suffers, not just the two directly involved in the conflict. Children suffer without understanding why grandpa and uncle don't speak. Other family members suffer having to choose sides, having to make two separate celebrations, having to measure their words to not offend either one. Family divisions create waves of pain that affect generations. When God heals a relationship in December, right before Christmas and New Year celebrations, He's allowing the whole family to celebrate together, in peace, in unity, in love. He's allowing children to see their whole family together. He's creating new memories that will replace the painful ones. He's restoring what time and pride had destroyed. And you, Pisces, are going to be the recipient of this beautiful blessing in the first days of December. Prepare your heart to truly forgive, not just in word, Prepare your arms to embrace without reservations. Prepare your mind to let go of the past and not use it as a weapon in future discussions. Prepare your soul to build a better future with that person God is bringing back into your life. This December will be different. Your family will be more united. The celebrations will have the flavor of reconciliation, and your heart will finally find peace in that area that has hurt you so much. Thing number 6. Your physical or emotional health will experience a notable improvement that will allow you to fully enjoy December. Pisces, if you've been dealing with any health problem, with persistent pains that doctors can't fully explain, with that unexplainable tiredness that makes you feel like you're carrying the weight of the world, with anxiety that tightens your chest every morning, with that deep sadness that seems to have no end and makes you cry for no apparent reason, in the first days of December, God is going to touch your body and your soul with His healing power. You're going to start feeling better in ways you didn't expect, in ways medicine can't completely explain. That pain in your back, in your knees, in your neck, that pain that has been bothering you for months, making every movement difficult, is going to start to decrease. Not all at once, perhaps, but day after day, you're going to notice it hurts a little less, that you can move more easily, that you no longer wake up in pain. That anxiety that tightened your chest every morning, when you thought about everything you have to do, about December expenses, about family gatherings, about everyone's expectations, that anxiety is going to start to loosen. You're going to wake up feeling more peace, more ability to face the day, more confidence that you can handle everything. That deep sadness that made you cry for no apparent reason, that melancholy that always comes in December because this month reminds you of those who are no longer here, of what you lost, of how life used to be. That sadness is going to start to lift like fog under the morning sun. It won't disappear completely overnight because grief and emotional healing are processes, but you're going to notice that good days start to be more than bad days, that you can smile genuinely, that you can enjoy a moment without sadness ruining it. It won't be something magical from one second to another like in the movies. Divine healing is sometimes instantaneous, but more frequently it's gradual. But you're going to notice day after day, week after week, that you feel a little better, a little stronger, a little more hopeful, a little more alive, and you're going to know in your heart that it's not just time that heals, it's God's hand touching the sick areas of your body and your soul. This improvement in your health can come accompanied by an important revelation about what was causing your discomfort. Perhaps you're finally going to understand that much of your physical illness came from unprocessed emotional illness. That much of your bodily pain came from soul pain you didn't know how to express. That much of your tiredness came from carrying worries that weren't yours, problems of others you adopted as your own, responsibilities you should never have assumed. That much of your anxiety came from not setting healthy boundaries, from saying yes when you wanted to say no, from absorbing everyone's pain around you. Pisces have this natural tendency to be emotional sponges. They absorb everything around them. They enter a room and immediately feel what each person is feeling, even though no one says anything. They talk with someone who is sad and absorb that sadness as if it were their own. They're near someone anxious and start feeling anxiety even though a moment before they were fine. This sensitivity is a beautiful gift that allows you to be empathetic, compassionate, healing for others. But it can also make you sick if you don't learn to protect yourself energetically. And in December, with all the emotional load of the holidays, with all the family gatherings full of complex emotions, with all the collective pressure and stress, this intensifies. You absorb your partner's stress thinking about money. You absorb your mother's sadness, remembering those who are no longer here. You absorb your children's anxiety with their own problems. You absorb the tension of gatherings where there are unresolved conflicts, and all that accumulates in your body and soul until you get sick. God is going to teach you in these days that taking care of yourself is not selfishness, but divine necessity. That you can't help anyone if you yourself are sick and exhausted. That's setting healthy boundaries, saying no when you need to say no, protecting your energy. Taking time for yourself alone is not abandonment of others, but preservation of yourself. That you can't give from an empty cup, that you need to fill yourself first to be able to pour into others. It's also possible you'll find the right treatment, the right doctor, or the therapy that really works. God works through health professionals too. You don't have to choose between medicine and faith. You can have both. If you've been seeking medical answers and can't find them, if you've gone from doctor to doctor without anyone being able to really help you, in the first days of December, that divine connection with the person or treatment you need may arrive. It could be that someone recommends a doctor who finally understands your case. It could be that you find information about a new treatment. It could be that a doctor finally orders the right study that reveals what's happening. Keep your mind open and your faith strong. Healing is on the way in multiple forms, and God Himself is directing that process. You're going to be able to enjoy December with more energy, with more health, with more vitality than in previous years. You're going to be able to participate in celebrations without that overwhelming tiredness. You're going to be able to cook, clean, decorate, organize without your body torturing you. You're going to be able to be present with your family without pain or sadness distancing you. This will be a December where you finally feel good, where your body and soul cooperate with you instead of sabotaging you. And that's an immense blessing that only someone who has been sick can truly appreciate. Thing number 7, you will receive the answer to a prayer you made a long time ago and had already forgotten. This is the most powerful thing of all, Pisces. The one that's going to make you cry on your knees when it happens. The one that's going to completely restore your faith. The one you're going to remember for the rest of your life as proof that God is real, that He listens, that He responds, that His timing is perfect even though we don't understand it. There's something you asked God for a long time ago. It could be 6 months ago, it could be 2 years ago, it could be 5 years or more. Something so important, so crucial for your life, so necessary for your happiness or your peace, that when you asked for it, you did it with tears running down your face. You asked with your heart broken in 1,000 pieces. You asked with deep desperation. With that anguish only those who have needed something with every fiber of their being know. You asked on your knees in your room at 3 in the morning when you couldn't sleep from the pain. You asked in church with trembling hands. You asked looking at the sky, wondering if anyone was listening. You prayed for it over and over, at first with strong faith, with certainty that God would answer soon. But days passed and nothing happened. Weeks passed and there was still no answer. Months passed and you started to doubt. Years passed and you finally gave up. You stopped asking. You stopped waiting. You stopped believing it was possible. You resigned yourself thinking God's answer was no, or that it simply wasn't for you, or that maybe you didn't deserve it, or that God had other plans for your life that didn't include that blessing you so longed for. And with time, you stopped thinking about it frequently. You stored that desire in a forgotten corner of your heart. You built your life around the absence of that thing. You learned to live without it, although a part of you always wondered what your life would have been like if God had said yes. But here's the truth you need to know. God never forgot that prayer. Not a single one of your prayers is lost or forgotten. Every tear you shed was kept in a cup in heaven. Every word you said on your knees was heard, recorded, valued. Every sigh of your heart reached God's ears. And although you stopped asking, although you don't even think about it frequently anymore, although you already resigned yourself, God has been working all this time in silence, behind scenes you can't see, preparing the perfect answer for you. He's been moving people, arranging circumstances, aligning events, preparing you too to be able to receive that blessing in the right way, because you weren't ready before. If He had given you that blessing when you asked for it, you wouldn't have known how to appreciate it. You wouldn't have known how to take care of it. You wouldn't have been spiritually mature to handle it. But everything you've lived since then has been preparing you. Every trial made you stronger. Every disappointment made you wiser. Every tear made you deeper. And now, yes, you're ready. And in the first days of December, just when you least expect it, just when you're not even thinking about it, that answer is going to arrive. It's going to arrive in the most unexpected way, from the least anticipated place, at the most perfect moment. It's going to arrive in a way that can only be explained as a divine miracle, as direct intervention of God in your life. It could be the call you stopped waiting for. It could be the medical result you no longer expected to be positive. It could be the person you thought would never come. It could be the opportunity you believed lost forever. It could be the restoration of something you thought destroyed beyond repair. It could be the provision of something you desperately needed. Whatever it is, when it arrives, you're going to know immediately that it's the answer to that old prayer. When this answer arrives, and I promise you it will arrive in the first days of December, because God is using me to announce it to you, you're going to cry. But you're not going to cry from sadness. You're going to cry from deep astonishment, seeing that God never forgot you. You're going to cry from overwhelming gratitude for His faithfulness. You're going to cry from relief, realizing that all the time you thought you were alone, God was working in your favor. You're going to cry from pure joy, finally receiving what your soul needed. You're going to cry, asking for forgiveness for having doubted, although God already forgave you for that a long time ago. And in that moment of tears and astonishment, you're going to finally understand why it had to take so long. You're going to see with clarity that you weren't ready before, that circumstances weren't right, that there were things that needed to happen first, that there were people who needed to be in their places, that there were lessons you needed to learn, that God was arranging 1,000 things behind the scenes you couldn't see, moving pieces on the board of your life in ways your limited mind couldn't comprehend, so that when your blessing finally arrived, it would arrive in the most perfect way possible, at the most perfect moment possible, in the way that would cause you the most good and least harm. And December, the month of miracles, the month when the world celebrates the birth of the Savior, the month when hope is renewed, is the perfect moment for this to manifest. It's no coincidence your miracle arrives in December. It's God's perfect design, so your year ends with the most beautiful proof of His faithfulness. This delayed answer is going to completely restore your faith. It's going to heal wounds you didn't even know you had. It's going to change your perspective on everything you lived. You're going to look back and see that everything made sense, that every no was because God was preparing a better yes, that every closed door was because there was a better door waiting for you, that every delay was actually divine protection. You're going to remember this moment every time in the future you doubt God, every time you feel abandoned, every time you think your prayers are worthless. You're going to remember how God answered in December when you least expected it, and you're going to use that memory as an anchor for your faith, as evidence that God always answers, even though sometimes it takes longer than we'd like. And not only will your faith be strengthened, your testimony of this divine answer is going to strengthen the faith of others who are waiting for their own answers. When this blessing arrives, don't keep it secret. Share your story. Tell what God did for you. Let others know that God does answer, that He does listen, that He does fulfill His promises, even though sometimes it takes years. Your testimony is going to be the hope someone needs to not give up. It's going to be the proof someone needs to keep believing. It's going to be the light that guides someone back to faith. December will bring you the miracle you stopped waiting for, and that miracle isn't just for you, but for everyone who will be blessed hearing your testimony. Thing number 8. A door that seemed closed forever will open wide, showing you the right path. Pisces, there has been something you've been trying to achieve without success for a long time, a goal you pursued with all your heart, but that slipped from your hands. An opportunity you actively sought, but that never came. A path you wanted to take, but was completely blocked. A door you knocked on over and over, but never opened. It could be a job opportunity, a promotion they denied you, a business that didn't take off, a project that didn't work, a relationship that didn't prosper, a house you couldn't buy, a country you couldn't move to, a career you couldn't start, a dream that seemed impossible to reach. And every time that door closed in your face, it hurt deeply. It made you question your worth as a person. It made you doubt your abilities and talents. It made you wonder why others could achieve those things, but you couldn't. It made you feel that maybe you weren't enough, that maybe you weren't qualified, that maybe you didn't have what it takes. It made you think that maybe you'd never achieve it, that maybe that goal simply wasn't destined for you, that maybe you should settle for less than what you really wanted. You tried over and over. You knocked on that door with all your strength. You used all the strategies you knew. You asked for help. You prayed. You worked hard. You did everything in your power, but nothing worked. The door remained closed, and eventually, exhausted and discouraged, you gave up. You stopped trying. You stopped believing it was possible. You accepted it would have to be another way. You built alternative plans. You moved on with your life without that thing you wanted so much. But in the first days of December, all that is going to change in the most surprising way. That door that seemed sealed forever, that door you tried to open 100 times without success, that door you stopped looking at long ago because it hurt too much, is going to open. And it's not just going to open a little, letting you see what's on the other side. It's going to open completely wide, broadly, as if inviting you to pass without obstacles, without resistance, without struggle. What was impossible is going to become possible. What they denied you over and over, they're going to offer you now with ease. The path that was blocked is going to clear miraculously, as if there had never been obstacles. And when this happens, when that door opens in front of you, you're going to finally understand with crystal clarity why it didn't open before. You're going to see that all the previous times that door remained closed, it wasn't because you weren't enough. It wasn't because you didn't deserve it. It wasn't because God was punishing you. It was because God was protecting you from something your limited mind couldn't see. If you had entered through that door when you wanted, 2 years ago, 5 years ago, when you were desperately insisting, you wouldn't have been prepared for what was on the other side. You would have failed spectacularly. You would have hurt yourself. You would have lost important things. You would have made wrong decisions, or you would have discovered it wasn't really what you needed, but what you thought you wanted. God, in His infinite wisdom, in His perfect love, in His knowledge of your future, closed that door temporarily, not to deny you the blessing, but to protect you from wrong timing. And while the door was closed, God was working in 2 areas simultaneously. He was working on you, preparing you, strengthening you, teaching you, maturing you, developing in you the skills and character you would need to handle that blessing correctly. And He was working on circumstances, moving people, arranging situations, aligning events, preparing the perfect ground so that when you finally entered through that door, everything would flow perfectly, everything would work correctly, everything would align for your success. And that moment has arrived. In the first days of December, just in time for you to begin the new year on the right path, you're ready. You've grown, you've learned, you've matured. You now have what you didn't have before. You now know what you didn't know before. You now are who you weren't before. And circumstances are also ready. The right people are in their places. Necessary resources are available. The universe's timing is perfectly aligned. And God is going to open that door because now, yes, it's your time. Now, yes, you can enter and triumph. Now, yes, that blessing is going to help you instead of destroy you. When this door opens in the first days of December, and it will open, don't hesitate for a second to cross it. Don't let fear of failure paralyze you because you failed before. That previous failure wasn't failure, it was training. Don't let surprise make you question if it's really happening or if it's a dream. It's happening. It's real. It's your moment. Don't let doubt make you ask if you deserve this opportunity. You deserve it completely. God doesn't open doors to people who aren't ready. If he's opening this door for you, it's because he trusts you're prepared for what's on the other side. Cross that door with faith, with gratitude, with courage, with your head held high, with a confident heart, knowing that if God opened it, it's because he has a beautiful plan waiting for you there. This opportunity isn't coincidence, it's not luck, it's not just the right time. It's divine destiny manifesting in your life just in time. It's God's reward for your perseverance in difficult times. It's confirmation that he never forgot you. It's proof that your wait wasn't in vain. And when you enter through that door and start seeing results, when you start living the reality of that blessing you waited so long for, you're going to look back with gratitude for all the years the door was closed. Because you're going to understand that if it had been opened before, you wouldn't have been able to appreciate the blessing like you're going to appreciate it now. You wouldn't have known how to take care of it like you're going to take care of it now. You wouldn't have been at the level of spiritual maturity you needed to handle it correctly. The delay wasn't divine cruelty. It was perfect preparation. December will open paths that seemed impossible and show you that God's timing is always perfect, even though we don't understand it while we wait. Thing number 9, you will experience an inexplicable peace that surpasses all human understanding in the middle of chaos. In the first days of December, Pisces, God is going to pour over you, is going to completely envelop you, is going to fill you to overflowing with a peace that has no logical explanation, a peace that the rational mind can't comprehend or produce. Something is going to happen, or several things are going to happen, that normally would have completely thrown you off balance, that would have robbed you of sleep for nights, that would have filled you with paralyzing anxiety, that would have sunk you in constant worry. It could be the typical stress of the holidays that affects you every year. The pressure of having to organize everything, of having to buy all the gifts, of having to cook for everyone, of having to clean and decorate, of having to make everyone happy while you're exhausted. It could be complicated family gatherings where you know there will be tension, where you know someone will make a hurtful comment, where you know old conflicts might resurface. It could be December's economic burden that anguishes you every year. It could be the sadness that invades you at this time, remembering those who are no longer here, the empty chairs at the table, the voices you no longer hear, the hugs you no longer receive. It could be a specific problem that arises in the first days of December. Difficult news, an unexpected conflict, a complicated situation at work, a health problem, a family crisis. Something that in previous years, in previous months, even a few weeks ago, would have devastated you, would have completely taken away your peace, would have made you feel like you're drowning. But this December is going to be different. This time, when those situations arrive, when that chaos surrounds you, when those trials appear, something extraordinary is going to happen inside you. In the middle of that chaos, in the middle of that storm, in the middle of that difficult situation, you're going to feel a strange calm, a deep serenity, an inexplicable tranquility that you can't produce with your own strength or with breathing techniques or with positive thoughts. It's a supernatural peace that comes directly from God. Your mind will tell you that you should be worried because the situation is serious. Your logic will tell you that you should be scared because you don't know how everything will turn out. Your emotions will tell you that you should be anxious because there's a lot at stake. But your spirit, the deepest part of your being, is going to be in perfect peace. You're going to know on a level you can't explain with words that everything is going to be okay, even though you don't know how. You're going to trust that God has everything under control, even though you don't see physical evidence of it. You're going to be able to rest in the storm, knowing that the creator of the storm is with you in the boat. You're going to be able to enjoy December without that anxiety that has stolen your joy in previous years. You're going to be able to be present at celebrations without your mind being elsewhere worrying. You're going to be able to smile genuinely without pretending you're okay when inside you're destroyed, because this time you'll really be okay inside. This time the peace will be real, not acted. This supernatural peace you'll experience in the first days of December is a direct gift from God. It's one of the clearest signs of His presence in your life. It's confirmation that you've matured spiritually during this year. It's evidence that your faith has strengthened so much through all the trials that you no longer react from fear, but from absolute trust that God will never abandon you. This peace is not absence of problems. It's not absence of storms. It's not absence of difficult situations. It's God's presence in the middle of problems, in the middle of storms, in the middle of difficult situations. It's knowing that even though the sea is stormy and the waves are high, you're safe because the Creator of the sea is with you in the boat. It's knowing that even though the path is dark, you're not walking alone because the light of the world walks beside you. It's knowing that even though the battle is difficult, you're not fighting alone because the God of armies fights for you. This peace is the invisible armor God puts on you to protect your mind and heart from the chaos trying to destroy you. People around you are going to notice something different about you during these first days of December. They're going to notice you're not as stressed as you usually are at this time. They're going to notice you don't complain as much about everything you have to do. They're going to notice you smile more easily. They're going to notice you don't explode as easily at provocations. They're going to wonder how you can be so calm in the middle of all December's madness, in the middle of everything that's happening, and you're not going to have a logical answer to give them because this peace isn't produced by favorable circumstances, but by divine presence. You'll only be able to say that you trust God, that you know He's working, that you have peace because He gave it to you. And your calm, your serenity, your peace in the middle of chaos is going to be contagious. Others are going to find peace just by being near you, just by talking with you, just by seeing you face situations with that quiet confidence. Because God's peace living in you in these days is going to radiate from you like light, is going to flow from you like fresh water in the desert, is going to touch everyone around you, bringing them also a bit of that heavenly peace. Your home is going to be more peaceful because you're at peace. Your relationships are going to be more harmonious because you're not reacting from stress. Your decisions are going to be wiser because you're making them from a place of peace and not from a place of panic. This December will be the most peaceful you've had in years, not because circumstances are perfect, but because God gave you His peace that surpasses all human understanding. Thing number 10. You will make an important decision that will change the course of your life for the new year and years to come. This is the last thing, but not the least important of all. In fact, it's perhaps the most transcendent because it's the one you have to activate with your free will. The other 9 things God is going to do for you, to you, in you. But this 10th thing requires your active participation, your courage, your conscious decision. In the first days of December, Pisces, you're going to face a crucial decision, one of those big life decisions. You know that once you make it, there's no turning back. That's going to change the course of everything that comes after. A decision you've been postponing for a long time because you were afraid to face the consequences, because you weren't sure which was the right option, because the implications seemed too big to handle. It could be a decision about your work, about whether to quit that job that's killing your soul, even though it pays well, about whether to accept that offer in another city, even though it means leaving everything familiar, about whether to start that business of your own you've always dreamed of, even though it means financial risk. It could be a decision about a relationship, about whether to finally end that relationship you know isn't good for you, but you've maintained out of fear of loneliness. About whether to give someone new a chance, even though you're afraid of being hurt again. About whether to reconcile with someone or close that door forever. It could be a decision about where to live, about whether to move to another place where you feel you'd be better, about whether to stay where you are and build here, about whether to return to your place of origin or venture into the unknown. It could be a decision about what path to take in a fundamental aspect of your life, what direction to follow when the path divides and both options seem to have pros and cons. You've been turning this decision over in your mind for months, maybe years. You've made lists of pros and cons. You've asked advice from friends and family who probably confused you more with contradictory opinions. You've prayed, asking for clear signs. You've waited for someone else to make the decision for you so you don't have to carry the responsibility. But the decision is yours and only yours. No one else can make it for you. And all 9 previous things God will send in these first days of December have been your divine preparation for this moment of decision. The healing reunion gave you closure from the past so you can move toward the future without burdens. The financial solution took away economic pressure that made you make decisions from fear of scarcity. The amplified intuition gave you the internal clarity you need to know which is the right option. The divine sign confirmed God is with you, and you won't be alone in what comes. The family reconciliation strengthened you emotionally, giving you the support network you need. The health improvement gave you the physical and mental energy to be able to execute what you decide. The answered prayer renewed your faith, giving you confidence that God responds, and this will also work. The open door showed you that impossibles are possible when it's God's timing. The inexplicable peace took away the paralyzing fear that prevented you from moving. And now you're ready. Now you have everything you need to make this important decision. Now you can do it from a place of strength instead of weakness, from a place of faith instead of fear, from a place of clarity instead of confusion. When the moment comes to decide, and that moment will arrive in the first days of December, don't seek others' approval anymore. Don't do more surveys among family and friends at Christmas dinner. Don't wait for more external signs because you already received the internal sign. Don't let other people's fears, their insecurities, their past failures contaminate your clarity. They are not you. Their life is not your life. Their destiny is not your destiny. Close your eyes for a moment. Breathe deeply 3 times. Put your hand on your heart, feeling its beats, and ask your soul, not your rational mind, but your deep soul, what it wants for the new year ahead, what it needs to be happy, which is the right path. And wait in silence. The answer is going to come. Not as confused thought, but as deep knowing. Not as doubt, but as certainty. Clear, strong, without hesitations. You're going to know, you're going to feel, you're going to be sure. And when you receive that answer from your soul, which is where God dwells, act with immediate courage. Don't postpone anymore. Don't wait for circumstances to be perfect because they never will be. Don't wait to have all resources because resources appear when you take the first step. Don't wait for fear to disappear because fear never completely disappears. You just learn to act despite it. Don't wait for January with those New Year's resolutions that never get fulfilled because they're made from the emotion of the moment and not from deep conviction of the soul. This decision you'll make in the first days of December, even though it's scary, even though it implies big changes, even though it means leaving the comfort of the known, is going to take you exactly where God wants you to be in the next year. It's going to put you on the right path toward your destiny. It's going to open doors you didn't even know existed. It's going to connect you with people who will change your life. It's going to take you to experiences that will make you grow. It's going to bring you closer to the version of yourself God designed before you were born. And years later, when you look back, you're going to identify this moment, this December decision, as the turning point of your life. The moment where everything changed, the moment where you decided to be brave, the moment where you chose to trust God more than your fears, the moment where your life divided into before and after. If you're Pisces and you've made it here to the end of this message, I want you to understand something fundamental with every cell of your being. These 10 things I just revealed to you are not empty predictions from a generic horoscope that applies to anyone. They're not nice wishes without substance. They're not empty words to make you feel good temporarily. They are divine promises that are going to manifest specifically in your life in the first days of December. They are real movements God is orchestrating at this moment for you. God saw everything you went through during this year that's about to end. He saw January when you started with hopes that faded. He saw February when you started to doubt. He saw March when things got complicated. He saw April when you felt you couldn't go on. He saw May when you cried in silence. He saw June when you thought about giving up. He saw July when the burden became heavier. He saw August when you felt more alone than ever. He saw September when sadness invaded you. He saw October when anxiety wouldn't let you sleep. He saw November when you thought maybe this year would end without anything changing. He saw all the difficult months. He saw all the tears you shed on your pillow when no one saw you. He saw all the nights you stayed awake until 3 in the morning with a restless soul. He saw all the moments you felt alone and abandoned. He saw all the moments you wondered if anyone cared about you. He saw all the moments you wanted to give up, but something inside you made you keep going. He saw your unwavering faith even when you had 1,000 reasons to stop believing. He saw your generous heart even when you yourself were suffering and didn't have much to give. He saw every silent sacrifice you made for others without expecting anything in return. And he decided that these first days of December, just before this difficult year closes, just before the new year begins, full of possibilities, would be your time to receive, your time to harvest after sowing so much with tears, your time to be blessed after being so much the one who blesses others, your time to be cared for after caring for everyone so much, your time to rest after carrying so many others' burdens, your time to smile after crying so much, your time to celebrate after surviving so much. Not all these 10 things will arrive the same day. God is going to distribute them throughout the first days of December so you can process them, so you can appreciate them individually, so it won't be overwhelming. Some will arrive on December 1st, others on the 2nd, others on the 3rd, 4th, 5th, but all are going to arrive in these first days because when God makes a promise, He keeps it. When God says something is going to happen, it happens. When God commits to something, He executes it perfectly. Your only job, your only responsibility, the only thing God asks of you is that you keep your heart open to receive them when they arrive, that you keep your faith active to recognize them when they manifest, because sometimes they come wrapped in ways you didn't expect, that you keep your gratitude ready to thank for them immediately, because blessings flow more easily, multiply more quickly, expand more abundantly toward grateful hearts that recognize where they come from. And December is the perfect month for gratitude, for thanksgiving, for recognizing everything God has done for you during the year, for recognizing that even though it was difficult, you survived, that even though it hurt, you grew, that even though you cried, you learned, that even though you felt alone, God never abandoned you, not for a single second. Now tell me in the comments, I need you to do this. Which of these 10 things do you feel most strongly you need at this moment in your life? Write the number from 1 to 10 and write your complete birth date. If you're already feeling that some of these things are starting to move in your life, if you're already perceiving the signs they're coming toward you, write in capital letters, "My December will be different." So other Pisces know this isn't fantasy, but reality that's beginning to manifest. And if you know another Pisces who is going through difficult times, who has cried this year, who needs this word of hope to begin December with renewed faith instead of resignation, share this video with them. It could be your child, your mother, your sibling, your friend, your partner. Send it to them right now. Don't wait, because maybe this message is exactly what their soul needs to hear today, to not give up, to keep believing, to know they're not forgotten. If this message filled your heart with hope when you were already losing it, if it confirmed to you that God hasn't forgotten you, even though sometimes you felt that way, if it gave you strength to face December with renewed faith instead of the same tiredness as always, give this video a like so the algorithm shows it to more Pisces who need to hear this. Each like helps this message reach more people who desperately need it. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because here we honor Pisces. Here we celebrate your sensitivity that the world sometimes misinterprets as weakness when it's really spiritual strength. Here we confirm that what you feel is real and valid. Here, we constantly remember that God has a perfect plan for each of you, even though sometimes you don't understand it while you're living it. Remember, dear Pisces, the first days of December will be different from everything you've experienced this year. They'll be different from previous Decembers. God is about to pour blessings over your life in ways you can't even imagine at this moment. It's no coincidence you found this video today. It's no coincidence you watched it complete to the end when you probably have 1,000 things to do. It's no coincidence these words resonated in your soul in a way you can't explain. It's direct confirmation from God that all the good you deserve, everything you've been waiting for, everything you've been asking for, is on the way. It's arriving. It's manifesting. Keep your faith strong without letting it waver by appearances. Keep your heart open without closing it out of fear of more disappointments. Keep your spirit hopeful without letting it fall into resignation. God keeps his promises without fail. God honors the faith of his children without exception. And you're about to live the most beautiful, most tangible, most undeniable proof that he never forgets his faithful children. Your December will be miraculous. Your new year will begin from a completely different place than you expected. Prepare to receive it with open arms, with a grateful heart, with a soul at peace.